Hello, 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 and welcome back to a new you where we have twin flames to heal and to master thyself along thy journey. My name is Rubylee, and I am a self mastery coach and I am a twin flame specialist. If you are in separation from your twin at the moment, and if you want some support along your journey, you want to make sure you click that bell and become a subscriber to a new you. And so today's topic of discussion is simply titled, Why is it so hard to say yes to the call? Why is it so hard to say yes to the call that God has over your life? Why is it so hard for us to obey what God has put in you to do? Why do we resist? Why do we buck back? Why do we hide? Why do we run? Why do you do what I did and say, oh, yes, and get all excited, but you do nothing in the physical realm to manifest that in which God has put in you, right? You all talk, but you ain't backing it up with nothing, right? That's how I was, okay? That's how I was, okay? I was all talk about what I wanted and what I saw uh, uh, um in my vision and the downloads that God, I mean, I would just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about the vision that I saw, right? About what I wanted to do, what I felt like I should do. But I wasn't taking the necessary action steps that were needed to manifest, to back up what it was that I said that I want. And so I would say yes to God with my mouth, but like I said, my action steps wasn't in alignment with what I was speaking over my life. And so you can't manifest that in what you want if you're not backing it up with the action steps that God gives to you to do. And so, why is it so hard for us to say yes, especially when we initially receive the revelation of what we need to do, right? What we call to do, right? Why is it so hard initially to say yes? And I know for me, one of those reasons why it is so hard to say yes and to fall in to what it is that you know you need to do is that God's vision for your life, God's dream for your life is oftentimes bigger than what you saw for yourself. And so when you don't see yourself in certain ways, you feel like you can't do, right? If you don't see yourself as a speaker, but yet God is calling you to speak, then what's going to happen is that you're not going to really be able to step into the call that God has over your life to speak because you don't see yourself in that way. You don't believe that you can do it. And so oftentimes we reject, we say no, right? We run, we hide. It's because we're scared. And like I said, the vision that God is showing you of yourself is a lot bigger, right? The life that God is showing you, it's a lot bigger than the dream you have for yourself. And oftentimes when you don't feel worthy of having such a thing or doing such a thing, right? When you feel inadequate, when you feel like, no, that's not for me. I can't see myself doing this or that, right? Even though God shows you that this is what you need to be doing, but you don't see it for yourself, then what happens is that we begin to sabotage. We begin to not do the very thing that God has planted on the inside of you to do. And the second reason why it is so hard to say yes to the call, right? If you're anything like me, once you have accepted God's vision for your life, right? You begin to think that you have to be a certain type of way outside of who you are. You think that you gotta be or know, or you have to be able to do a certain thing in order to succeed in this area of your life, right? A lot of times we want to create these characters that's only outside of ourselves, that we think that that's going to be the keys that's going to get us to our next level. But God just wants you to be you. God called you to the table, not your alter ego, not who you think you should be. God called you to the table. And so God wants you to bring all of you to the table. That means all of your flaws, all of your gifts, all of your talents, all of your skills, all of your knowledge to the table. But oftentimes we feel like we don't measure up. We don't have the tools that we need to do what it is that God's calling you to do. But if you didn't have the tools, if you wasn't equipped, then God wouldn't call you to do it. God wouldn't call you to something that He didn't implant in you. Now, you may not have all the resources, right? And that's where your faith comes into place. That's where belief comes into place, right? That's where taking risks and chances come into play. But God has given you everything you need to begin your new journey, to begin to say yes to what it is that God has implanted in you. And so don't allow your stinking thinking to sabotage your future, to sabotage what it is that God wants to bless you with, what it is that God wants to usher you into. Sometimes you just have to learn how to let go and just follow and allow God to show you the plans that He has for your life versus you telling God the plans that you have for your own life. Because that's what we do a lot of times. We tell God our plans, but God already has a plan for you. He already has a way for you. You just got to trust and believe that it is so. It is so for you. And so that is it. I will leave you in love. See you in the next video. Bye bye.